You're thinking about buying the Logitech Z130 speakers. They're cheap, they're from a trusted brand, and the reviews look good. I'm here to tell you why that might be a huge mistake. This is the honest review no one is giving you, where I expose the real problems you won't find in the marketing. For the best price, click the link in the description. But here's what surprised me. These speakers have a 4.2-star rating on Amazon. That's pretty solid, right? Therefore, you'd expect a decent product. The contrarian snapback is that a high rating can hide critical flaws that only show up with daily use. I bought them, I tested them, and I found the issues that could ruin your experience. Let's start with the obvious promise. Rich, clear stereo sound for under 20 bucks. That's the dream. Logitech says you get 5 watts of power and easy plug-and-play setup. It sounds like the perfect budget solution for your laptop or desktop. Therefore, you hit that buy button, thinking your audio problems are solved. But the moment you unbox them, the first compromise hits you. These speakers feel incredibly light and plasticky. I'm not saying they need to be made of marble, but they feel like a strong sneeze could send them flying. That's joke number one. They're so light, I checked the box twice to make sure I didn't just buy a pair of speaker-shaped cookies. Setting them up is indeed simple. You plug the 3.5mm jack into your computer and you're done. The convenience controls are right there on the front of the right speaker, a volume knob and a headphone jack. So far, so good. Therefore, you fire up your favorite song, ready for that rich, clear sound. But here's the first major audio problem. The sound profile is shockingly thin. There is virtually no low end. Bass. Forget about it. A bass drum sounds like someone politely tapping on a cardboard box. If your music has any depth, these speakers will flatten it into a tinny, mid-range mess. Now, for casual YouTube videos or system sounds, they're fine. They make noise. But the promise was rich, clear stereo sound for music, movies, and games. Therefore, let's talk about movies. Dialogue might be okay, but any scene with action or a soundtrack falls completely flat. There's no immersion. It's like watching an explosion through a closed window. You see it, but you don't feel it. And for games, directional audio is almost non-existent. You won't be able to tell if those footsteps are behind you or in front of you. That's a critical flaw for a multimedia speaker. Let's rehook. What about the volume? 5 watts should be enough for a small room, right? Here's the twist. They can get moderately loud, but that's when the second big problem rears its ugly head. Distortion. Crank the volume past 70% on your computer and the speaker's own knob, and the sound starts to break up. It gets harsh and fuzzy, so you're stuck in a no-win zone. Keep it quiet and miss detail, or turn it up and endure grating distortion. Therefore, the usable volume range is much smaller than you'd think. They're loud, but not good loud. Then there's the build quality, which ties directly into long-term reliability. That lightweight plastic isn't just a feel issue. The volume knob feels loose and imprecise. After some testing, it developed a slight scratchy sound when turning it, a sign of a cheap potentiometer that will likely get worse over time. The headphone jack is a nice inclusion, but it feels just as flimsy. That's joke number two. The build quality is so budget. I half expected the warranty to be a handshake and a promise to think happy thoughts about my speakers. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the Amazon reviews. How does a product with these issues have a 4.2-star rating? I dove deep into the top reviews. Many 5-star reviews are from people upgrading from even worse laptop speakers or who have extremely low expectations. They're happy it makes sound at all. The critical reviews, the ones buried lower down, echo our problems. No bass, cheap construction, distortion at high volume. Therefore, the rating is inflated by a low bar, not by excellence. This is a classic case of you get what you pay for, but you might be getting even less. Time for a mini promise. I'm going to tell you who these speakers are actually for, and it's a very narrow group. They are for someone who needs basic audio output for video calls or occasional YouTube browsing in a pinch. That's it. If you care about music, enjoy movies, or play games, you will be disappointed. But what about the value? They're cheap. Therefore, isn't any sound better than no sound? Here's the contrarian snapback. Spending a little more, and I mean maybe $10 to $20 more, opens up a world of significantly better options. Staying at this ultra-budget level often means accepting fatal flaws. Let's talk about the stereo imaging. They are two separate speakers, so you do get a left and right channel. However, the soundstage is incredibly narrow. The audio doesn't feel like it's coming from a space between the speakers. It feels like it's coming directly from two little plastic boxes. There's no width, no sense of space. For the price, you might wonder what I expected. But when the product description promises rich, clear stereo sound, I expect some semblance of a stereo image, not just two mono points of sound. Therefore, another promise falls short. Here's joke number 3. Testing these speakers was like expecting a gourmet burger and getting a single, unseasoned lettuce leaf. It's technically food and it's green, but the experience is profoundly underwhelming. So, after all this negativity, is there anything good? The plug-and-play simplicity is genuine. No drivers, no software, no Bluetooth pairing headaches. The headphone jack on the front is genuinely convenient. Therefore, if your only requirement is, make sound appear from my computer with zero effort, these check that box. But that's a very, very low bar. We need to rehook one last time. What's the final verdict and what should you buy instead? The resolution is clear. The Logitech Z130 are not a good purchase for most people. The problems, no bass, distortion at volume, cheap build, and a misleading sound profile, outweigh the low price and simple setup. Therefore, I cannot recommend them. You deserve better, even on a tight budget. So what are the alternatives? Look at options from brands like Creative or even Logitech's own slightly higher-end models like the Z150 or Z200. Spending that small amount more gets you fuller sound, better construction, and no distortion. In conclusion, don't buy the Logitech Z130 speakers if you have any appreciation for audio quality. They are a stopgap, not a solution. They are the audio equivalent of putting a Band-Aid on a broken arm. That's joke number 4. Using these as your main speakers is like using a toy hammer to build a house. You'll make noise, but nothing of value will be constructed. Therefore, save your money, invest a tiny bit more, and get speakers that will actually enhance your media, not just audibly tolerate it. You've seen the problems, you know the flaws. Make the smarter choice. For the best price on better alternatives, click the link in the description below.